You just throw it to me. Whoa! Hey everyone! Welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I am queer, and also I'm Coach V. When you keep it seasonal, that's what it's all about. So, Merry Christmas, everyone! Merry Christmas to Dr. Dry, and Merry Christmas to people. Hey, this is yours.
I don't have a hand gesture.
Yours is vagina. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like a Jay Z thing, but Jay Z's going to Diddy parties apparently, and that like wasn't cool.
it might be
The
over.
dryness, I don't know. Forget I did that.
You know what? Just turn it off. We'll restart. Anyways, so well, first round, second round of the playoffs are done. We're moving forward. We're going into championship week for those of you who survived. Some of you might have thrived. Some of you might have failed desperately. Some of you may have had a narrow loss or a narrow win. Some of you may have got porked by a number of folks who we'll probably talk about today. So, how was y'all's week 2 semifinal round of the championships?
I will say Patrick probably had a hand in some of the corking,
Oof.
but we can probably get to that a little bit later too. I made it to the championship, barring some catastrophe by the defense of the Packers tonight. I'm up by 40 points or something like that, so we'll need something really bad to happen. But thanks to the backs of Jared Goff and Justin Jefferson, this boy's riding safely into the championship round. So happy to see that, and got smoked in the other league I'm still in, other two leagues I'm still in. So yeah, we got one we're looking forward to this week. So happy about that at least.
Go Peeps, go Peeps. All right, competing for a championship. You love to see it. FQF Nation, stand the fuck up. All right, Dr. Dry. So I went 5-0 last week in the first round. I'm in 6 leagues. Here's what happened. So I know I'll be in 3 championships next week, which is very exciting. It'll take a miracle, but it could happen. And I think I might have just had something good happen. So Packers defense, I need 20 out of them, but I need less than 45 because that could screw up another one. But anywhere from 20 to 44 points, I'll be in 4. I am 6 points away from pulling off a major upset. This is the league that I've three-peated, the Dick Perry tribute, and I would love to get to the championship and try for 4 in a row. Amazing feat that's I've never seen done before. So that one's in question, but we are going in the Mosaic League. That's my church league. Winner, free ticket to heaven. So trying to get to heaven here. Fantasy Junkies got killed by 60 plus against Vince the Prince, not Vinny Black, but the other Vince in that league, which we'll talk more about that one. But I got murdered. That team's amazing. Good luck next week. And then I dominated in one. So in the championship there. That one's a dynasty. Dick Perry were 6 points away. And then and I had a moment. I had that moment, the reason why you play fantasy football, it was crazy. So I was going back and forth all week, Sam Darnold or Jordan Love. Sam Darnold, Jordan Love. And I stuck with Sam Darnold. And that was the move. So what happened was I was against James Cook. He rips off a 46-yard touchdown run. Everyone's congratulating the other guy, ready to move on. And I'm like, wait a second. Sleeper says I have 1% chance. I see a lot of potential here. I have Darnold and Jefferson. So anyway, it's getting late, and then I'm down by I don't know how many, 10 or something, and the 39-yard touchdown happens, and I say, hey, Sleeper, suck my dick. 1% to 99% real quick, didn't look back, won by 7. And that's the team where with the amazing receiving core and everything, and we are finally back in the championship and will most likely get to go against the 8 seed that eliminated me last year in our 1-8 matchup. I've had this one circled. So 3 championships, possibly 4. Very long intro there, but that's where we're at right now. Exciting stuff. Vinny, what about you?
Well, mine was interesting because Jalen Hurts porked me in one, and I love that he got injured in the other. So in the cheese, Jalen Hurts going down, put that nail in my coffin. I was actually like at a thing and had like my phone was literally off until about 3:30 p.m. And so I like turned my phone on and then I was like, oh man, like what the hell? But then I checked the junkies and I was like, oh right, Jalen Hurts got hurt. And I was like, um so I moved forward into the junkies. The team that really isn't ready to be in a championship is in the championship. And the team that was ready fell short in the semifinals. And now I got to go
team
play
too.
and Vince is kind of a beast. He's like 12-2 or something like that. So his team is kind of up and down, a great team. Just so I don't know. He scored low in a couple weeks. Just everyone's just off. It's probably bye weeks, but so yeah, we're just gonna put a good team on the field. I was really happy with Jared Goff and Jameis Winston or Jameson Williams. At one point in the week, I had neither of those guys in my lineup, and I put them back into the lineup toward the end of the week, and I was like, "Oh, good call, good idea." So, anyways, I got one championship, one opportunity, sweater, vomit, whatever. Don't let it pass you by. I'm butchering that Eminem song. So,
Mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti.
Yes.
There was vomit. I knew there was vomit
Spaghetti
somewhere
song.
in that, and opportunities, lifetime, and So Cheddar Bob, that guy,
MC Bob.
Cheddar Bob, right in the leg. He shot himself, right? Cheddar Bob
Yeah.
shot himself. Idiot. And he was not intimidating at all.
He's my favorite character.
Do you ever get to hear Cheddar Bob rap at all?
No, but there's a scene where B Rabbit is. I'm dressed like B Rabbit right now. I just realized that. That's the look I was going for. And yeah, because except I don't have vomit on my shirt, sweater already. Mom spaghetti. But he goes to Cheddar Bob's shitty house and he sees him and then Cheddar Bob like tries to cover it up and he was watching BET on the couch and and anyway, but yeah, Cheddar Bob. So follow up question on 8 Mile, and you lived on 8 Mile, Peepaw.
Well,
I
that's
wouldn't
right.
go that.
Suburb.
I wouldn't go that
What?
far.
Yeah. Well, a safe suburb within a couple hours from 8 Mile.
Oh no, within the hour.
Within the
Whoa.
hour.
Wow.
It was every
How
time you
old-
went to Detroit and you saw that 8 Mile sign, like, hey, look, and then you just wave it goodbye. You don't stop.
Yeah. Don't hang out there.
You don't. We don't.
Um,
No, that's not a Sunday afternoon.
Well, how old do you think all those young men were acting like that? You ever think about that?
What? I got to be honest with you. Confession. Lord knows I haven't seen enough movies. I have not seen 8 Mile.
Whoa.
All right, peeps, you need to see it.
I'll tell you.
It'll inspire you to do great things.
It'll inspire you.
Yeah, it'll inspire you. So I don't know. I like to think that they were probably like mid-20s, acting a fool out there. What do you think, Vince?
Yeah, I mean, I would peg him as like mid-20s, maybe early 20s, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. Now that I think about it, well, none of them had kids though. None of them had kids, right?
No, I think they wanted to do the thing where you have kids, but because that was their big thing. They were always like, "Oh, when we get the record deal, we're gonna get all the bitches," and like that was like their big motivation for wanting to be rappers. But anyway, yeah, I think they were in their mid-20s, acting like they were like 15. But anyway,
Yeah,
way off subject.
yeah,
But
we got way off there.
but
Also, by the
shout
way,
out to my dad. He's in the
hey,
house.
there
So
we
hey,
go.
Dad. Welcome
If
to
you're
the next to last episode. Set your lineup. I don't think he plays fantasy, but I'm glad that he's here to support.
if you're
But
Doctor Dry, I would call him like medical director Dry, or maybe like chief
oh
of staff
yeah,
Dry.
he's up there. He's up
Yeah,
there.
that's where I would put him. So, anyways, also we're on a Monday, so there will be a little bit of like, oh crap, something just happened because there's a football game going on. So right now, Green Bay's up 21-zip on the Saints, and so we might check in with the game every once in a while, see what's going on. Looks like the Saints are currently moving the ball
Oh
without
no.
Alvin Kamara. So, anyways, let's get to our awards. So let's get angry. Everyone's angry after week 2 of the fantasy playoffs. So Hillshire Farm cheese and cracker gift basket of disappointment. Who let you down this week?
This week we have,
Oh
well,
shoot.
it's very fitting for Packers tonight with the cheese and crackers. Tonight I've got Trey McBride as mine. He has been steady all season, tight end 2 or 3 on the season, so put up some good numbers. Um, on the field for over 90% of the snaps, and it seemed like Kyler Murray forgot who he was, um, and that they were even needing to win to stay in the playoffs. So he ended up with 4 targets for 3 receptions and 20 yards. So long story short, that's not a good game for him. Um, well short of what he was doing the rest of the season. So disappointing out of someone you were expecting to pull through and get probably about close to 15 points. So he ends up being my Hillshire Farm Award winner this week, and hoping next week they're able to do something a little bit better, even though they're still eliminated from the playoffs.
Yes. And so Hillshire for me, and these are the players we're just disappointed in. We're not dropping them. We're not putting them in the sleep number bed with all those other nasty guys. But he got me here, and he's been nothing but disappointment in the playoffs. But luckily, we're still alive. Mr. Joe Mixon, 8.1 points, just not getting it done. I don't know if he's just not getting the opportunities or what. So definitely a little disappointed in him, a little worried about him. Honestly, considering starting Tyjae Spears over him in a couple spots, which feels wrong, feels weird. Don't want to get cute in the finals, but the matchups are better. He goes against the Ravens this week, and they've been stopping the run from what I've heard or from what I can tell. I still got to research a little more, but Mr. Joe Mixon, you are my Hillshire crackers cheese disappointment of the week.
Okay, my disappointment is everyone's love child, but you let us down. You let us down. Josh Allen this week, compared to his normal output, compared to average quarterback output, he had a bad week. He hasn't had many of those, but man, this came at a shitty time. So, people who are Josh Allen owners in the first, second round, semifinals of the playoffs thought they were just ready to cruise. Good matchup. Should have been a good situation, but not so much.
Patriots.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think you can't like score 40, 50 points that many weeks in a row. But man, that really sucks. I mean, he didn't get hurt. He didn't score 4.54 points and get hurt like Jalen Hurts did, but he did score far less than you needed. And you look, there's some teams who like maybe shouldn't even be here, but because Josh Allen, they're here. And those teams really got exposed when you think about it. So those
Ooh,
like Josh.
kind of like fire move.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's be nice
Well,
to my
you got to
boy Pat.
expose yourself to Pat Fryermuth.
Right. Yeah. Not the other way around. Pat doesn't expose himself to anybody.
He's above
He's a
doubt.
clean man.
So our next round of awards, we're going to get even angrier with our sleep number shit the bed award. Oh God, these beds are getting cheaper. They're beginning to look less like beds. Like they're starting to become like uglier versions of a bed. This is a mattress with a sheet cover on top. Like the last one at least had a box spring. This is
It
terrible.
looks like the box spring's underneath there.
You know what? There's a box spring there.
Yep.
God, look at those sheets.
Oh, whose room is this?
Kyle's room.
Oh.
Welcome to Kyle's
It says on the wall, smeared in his poop.
Well,
And notice he doesn't have ATL on the front of his jersey either.
So not that, we're at the time of year where like you're not really cutting guys anymore, but
you should be.
It might just cut them out of principle at this point. But who are the guys who made you so mad that you're pissed?
I mean, not that you're playing him, but he's the largest staying there on the bed. They're in his room too. My award winner this week was Kyle. I hope he didn't need a touchdown from him because he was able to successfully drop a easy, wide open touchdown. Just goes to show his skill talent and why he belongs in the room in his bed. And
Packers got a sack. Sorry.
Hey, 45% of the snaps, 2 targets, 1 reception for 7 yards. So all in all, awful. Absolutely awful performance by him, but that's what you come to expect, and that's why he's in his room in his nasty ass bed. On a side note, it looks like about probably 10 seconds ahead of me because I just saw that.
And it looks like he had a couple boys over the night before, so he didn't do all the shitting in there. But let's see, I had a couple of guys. Patrick Taylor, he's the gentleman in the back. You probably shouldn't have started him, but if you picked him up and started him, then you were pretty disappointed. I think it just goes to show that, it's I don't know. So the 49ers, their backfield, you want a piece of that action, as you said, in 2023 offseason, I believe.
Yeah.
As Coach V once said, you want a piece of that action. But only if you go back about 4 strings. So once you're on like the 5th string linebacker, I don't think you want a piece of that action. But the world does, and he was the top waiver wire ad this last week. So unfortunately, he's in the bed with Kyle. And then I believe I put Cooper Kupp on there, and he just kind of he's just swimming in it down there. He put up a whopping like 5.9, which I think is an improvement from last week's 4.8 or something. I don't remember. But I'm a Puka Nacua guy, and there's a reason why. He's his cup spilled over and it was nasty. So that's who I have in there.
I put Pacheco in the bed this week. It's like he's not even come back from IR. Like he's just been on the field, not doing anything for his fantasy team. Of course, the Chiefs have been winning, so it doesn't matter. And they're giving Kareem – he's been so bad they're giving Kareem Hunt the ball. Like they're just like, the angriest, most scariest, powerful runner in the league. And he can't do anything, so now they're just giving it to Kareem Hunt. Didn't Kareem Hunt did he get a touchdown this week?
He got the goal line.
Dear God. So anyways, I'm not a Pacheco owner. I think, Peeps, you have some Pacheco shares, don't you?
I do, but I have not started him since week 2 or 3 whenever he got injured.
Okay, so he hasn't burned you. But yeah, so anyways, Pacheco, welcome to the bed. I don't think he's been in the bed this year, so he could sleep right next to Patrick Taylor. They're both running backs, and
he deserves it.
Kyle can be on top of him.
At least he has a pillow. Kyle has the wall.
And I just noticed that the mattress is branded, the Sleep Number STB3000.
What happened to 2 and 1?
Could you imagine seeing those versions?
What happened to beds 2 and 1? 1,000.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Kevbot 3000. They were just out of control and they needed to replace it. So yeah, that's what happened to the 1000 and 2000. And now we
So,
got the Sleep Number
This
STB
will need
3000.
replacing pretty soon here.
Oh yeah, I don't even think they offer a warranty or any sort of like return policy or anything like that. It's just too stinky, too smelly.
They see Kyle walk
so
in the room and he says, "Oh, there goes your warranty."
Yeah.
So the Packers enter halftime up 21-zip as we head into the pick us up. We're going to pick ourselves up here, and we're going to make ourselves feel better with our McDonald's 12th, almost said 12th, 11th McNugget Award. So the player, wait a minute, is that Kyle Pitts? What is he doing?
Oh, he's he's doing something bad to Debo Samuel. He's he's not a winner on here. He's just doing the dirty work. There's a lot going on this week.
There's a lot to take in. There's a whole lot to take in. So, who are these players that made you feel better? That were pleasant surprises this week?
Debo. Every time Debo touched the ball this game, I said, "Thanks for nothing, Debo. You sucked all season. You choose now to actually do something." So that is the reason. This is the reason for this award. It's a guy we don't expect to do something. They go and do something. So, come to think about it, do we not expect Kyle to do this?
To do
Laying on
I
Debo's
think
lap.
I think this is just I think this is just like maybe like a foreshadowing to
Oh.
after he gets fired by the Atlanta Falcons, his next job is aero duty at the McDonald's.
All right. Well, Debo finally what you expected him and where you drafted him, probably the third round ish. It's what you expected him to do all season. And he's finally doing it in this one game. Um, 9 targets, and he figured out how to use his hands and catch the ball with 7 receptions. Just shy of 100 yards and 1 touchdown. And he also had 5 receptions. So um, uh, this 5 rushes rather for 25 yards. This is how he should have been used all season. Just it sucks that it's this late in the season, but good for him for finally doing something this season, not being a total wash.
It reminds me of Mike Evans 2 years ago, championship week. Didn't do shit, and then 50 burger, and
Yep.
like not to that impact, but like hey, like I'm out of options, but at least I drafted him early. I'm gonna start him.
Yep.
So that's kind of how that works. And I tried to match up the hairline and give him a nice Ronald McDonald fro, and the little stripes on his shoulders almost go with the
That's
stripes
close.
on Ronnie's.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I had I had three on here, and kind of ran out of ideas when I got to Tajay Spears. So he's just P. Jones, running back, the running back, y'all. Remember the Titans? Well, he's finally a relevant player on the Titans. And the last 2 weeks, I think he's been like 27 points, 22 points. They're starting to use him. He's not even getting crazy volume, but he's getting some good opportunities. And they did make that quarterback change. So I think there is a rhyme to the reason and everything. He's finally healthy. It's definitely I don't know. We had hoped for success maybe a season ago, but it's cool to see it now in the fantasy playoffs. I don't know if you're starting him. I am strongly considering him over Joe Mixon this week. Titans play the Jaguars. Nothing to play for. Might as well see what you got in Tajay Spears. So he might have a weird opportunity out of nowhere that could really pay off. And sometimes you got to make those tough decisions. So I'll still be weighing that out. Debo Samuel, hey, he's having a good time thanks to Kyle Pitts, and he's giving you the bird. Atlanta Falcons defense, 26 points. Pretty crazy. They had a great matchup against the Giants. I think I picked him up and started him in a league. So was very excited about that. And I think it was one that like brought me to the championship. I think it was the church league. So anyway, got that. And then serving up Happy Meals, putting smiles on the faces. We got Sam Ronald McDarnold, and he gave us that moment. I was down by so much, and that connection to Justin Jefferson, man, what what a godsend. I started him over Jordan Love, who it looks like he's having an okay game, but the game script is going about how we thought it would. I don't think they're going to be passing for too much longer tonight. So Sam Darnold putting some smiles on the faces, putting some happy meals in your lap, and those are my McNuggies this week. Vince, who you got?
I got Zay on the list. So Zay's been kind of disappointing the past several weeks, and then this week he finally got 100 yard receiving game, which is just really nice. And I hope, even though it's not even going to like benefit me in any way because my Zay team is out, but I hope that this means he's going to come on for this championship week for folks because he showed out really early in the year. He's kind of been in the muddy middle, up and down a little bit through the middle of the season. So if he can shine here at the end, give everyone a good taste in their mouth of is that a shake? Is he on the top of a shake? Oh, he's in a flower pot. I thought he was having a chocolate shake. I thought he was having like a McFlurry there, or maybe a Grimace
No,
shake.
nothing related to McDonald's at all.
So, anyways, yeah, I thought that would be nice. He gets up over 100 yards, and then if he can come through for folks in championship week, that would be really nice. Update on the matchup: Jordan Love less than 10 fantasy points, or 12 for 18, 127 yards. Josh Jacobs, no surprise, 10 for 53 and a touch, 4 for 4, 38 yards. And the entire receiving core is doing not shit for the Packers. And the highest scorer on this on the Saints is Jawan Johnson. No, Foster Moreau with 5.3 fantasy points in a PPR league. Spencer Radler with 4 for 8 for 56 yards and 3 carries for 12. This stat is terrible. Oh my god.
It's not.
Packers
It's what we expected.
Packers defense has me 16 of the 20 that I need.
Ooh.
I'm at a 0% chance to win. I'd love to see that turn into 100. Because Sleeper doesn't understand game flow. But here's the thing: you allow one touchdown, take away 6 points. Like it's crazy whenever you allow that one touchdown. So
you
we
need
need
did
at
like
least a touchdown.
three impact plays.
Did y'all see Devon Achane yesterday run at the end of the game?
Yeah, 50-yarder.
He had this massive touchdown run at the end of the game where he should have just went down to burn the clock so they could win, but instead he scores the touchdown. And there's people who lost their matchups because of that.
That's what you do. You score the touchdown at the end of the game.
Yes.
Even if it's against me, I will nut up and say, hey, this is good for fantasy if you run all the way to the end zone. Because yesterday, or was it Saturday in the Chiefs game, who went down? Who was that? Yeah, he could have scored. He could have scored. He went down. Freaking idiot.
Hope he gets injured. But yeah, I mean it's one of those things like, so I'm not a James Cook guy. I was against him in the one with where I had Darnold and Jefferson pulled out the win. But yeah, James Cook, he's one of those running backs that they just quit using, and it's got to be so annoying because he'll be on a tear, like 25-point game, and then all of a sudden they won't use him for the last quarter and a half, and the game can be competitive, not competitive, either one. They're going to go their two shittier running backs. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Very frustrating. So last thing is our Wacer Men flex of the week. Yes, there we go. Look at that. Look at those sexy nurses and doctors, I guess. Maybe some interns are mixed in there. They're all caring for one sexy patient. So flex of the week, who you want to brag about, who you want to talk about, who are y'all's flexes?
JSN, middle in the scrub outfit. Who's DK Metcalf? I don't know, because JSN is now the alpha. I kind of wonder if how close their lockers are to each other, and if DK tosses Skittles over and tries to hit his head, just to make him get injured so he doesn't get to play. And DK gets all the action, but JSN is a stud this season. It didn't start that way. Really sucked last season, but he's kind of who everyone thought he was coming into the league. Uh, he's a top 10 wide receiver this season. 8 receptions yesterday, just under 100 yards and a touchdown. So he's killing it left and right almost every single game. He's a guy that you want to start. He could be a championship winner for some teams this season. So good to see him come to what we kind of thought he would, and he's kind of killing it out there. And DK wishes he wouldn't.
Yep, and yeah, it's awesome what he's done. I know I wrote him off real quick last year,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really proving his like, when he was going in rookie drafts, he was going like 1.3. He was that first receiver off the board. First two were like Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, rightfully so, but but he was that first receiver off the board, and it kind of looked like a bust of a receiver class. No one really emerging that well. It was a big Tank Dell blow up year. It was a big Puka Nakua blow up year. So kind of the out of nowhere guys, but JSM was like the purebred, guy who was supposed to be him. Well, he's starting to become him now. I guess he just had to grow up. He was just a little fella, just a little rookie, and now look at him. He's made it. So I just realized I had Sam Darnold on the McNug list and the flex list. So unnecessarily there and looking really strong, Sam Darnold in the weight room, in the emergency room. He's doctoring things up here. So he just a real surgeon whenever it comes to getting the, ball down the field, penetrating defenses, penetrating the competition, if you know what I mean. And Anyway, he's there, and he's sitting around someone who I think, not because of the stats that he's put up this year, but because of his heart.
Can I get a Dale? Yeah, brother.
Dale, yeah, brother. Tank Dell, if you're watching, feel better. Gruesome injury, dislocated kneecap, but turns out it was like his whole leg and sprained like ACL, all that shit. Like, so anyway, he's been through so much this past year. Like, he got shot to kind of start off the season. He broke his leg last year or something. I forget what he broke last year.
He was the
throwing a
same
block
leg
or something.
too.
Yeah. So I worry about him long term. I do think I'm gonna, just out of respect to him, I think I'm gonna keep him on my dynasty roster. Even though I could flip him for something, but he's when you love a guy, you love a guy. You'll see him through until retirement. So anyway, I hope he gets to feeling better. Definitely like one of those. And what I loved about it, I don't know, like hated that he got hurt, but what you respect the hell of is he did it scoring points for your fantasy team. He could care less about the Texans, but he did that on I believe a 10-point play. Got you 10 points and then got carted off the field right after. So I think he had a 21-point game, but he went out scoring points for your team. His heart's in the right place, and we wish you a very speedy recovery, Tank Dell. You're the man, and we love you.
What's amazing too is you think he completed the catch with a broken leg.
Yeah. He held on to the ball.
What a badass.
He has enough mental. He's like, I gotta hold on to this ball. I have a broken leg, but I gotta hold on to this ball. And boy, did it! He's for sure out. I don't see him playing next year at all. So sad to see it happen this late in the season. But
this is like the most. This is like the most empathy we have had for any injury since the beginning of this podcast.
Oh yeah, usually we put him in the bed, we put him in the bed of shit. He gets to be on a bed surrounded by some of the best doctors out there, propped up. Probably has a nice TV on where he can watch his fantasy teams continue to play without him. And yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's ever wondering, if you ever want to see us be our most human, go to about 34, 35 on this show, and you will see us actually show compassion for another human being. Because it just feels really shitty. And I believe that's the Teddy Bridgewater injury, the dislocated kneecap, which then shredded everything else on the way to dislocating itself. And so if Teddy Bridgewater is a benchmark, then Tank Dell will be coaching for a high school football team in the next 5 years. So that could really suck. I hope that's not the truth. But if he does, I hope they win a championship just like Teddy Bridgewater's team did. And then they dance really weird in the street after the game. It was like he was like humping the air and doing like this with his arms. I don't know what that was that Teddy Bridgewater was doing, but same hair as Tank too, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we love you, Tank Dell.
My flex of the week is Keenan Allen out of fucking nowhere. Like 4 out of 5 weeks, 20 plus fantasy points in PPR leagues. Ridiculous. Like, I wonder for Keenan Allen owners, it would be funny, like, because they see him put up like 20 something first week, 20 something the second week. Then they go, fuck, I got to get him in. They put him in for week 3. He scores 6 points. So then they take him out for week 4 and he goes for another 20. And then someone probably, if they made it past that shit a couple weeks ago, they finally put him in this week and it worked out, because that's how my fantasy brain would have worked. That's why it would have went for me. I would have, of those 5 weeks, I would have taken advantage of one of the 20 pointers, and I would have caught the 6-pointer on the way too. But
that's what I hope happens. I'm against him next week, so
yeah, hopefully the 2-1-2-1 holds up, and then he'll put up a good 6 points this week. But truly out of nowhere, the Bears just feeding them the ball, making things happen. Kind of strange, but it works. And yeah, that's my flex. And Matt always has to say something about BTJ. So there you go. BTJ.
We gave him the love last week.
Yeah.
We're giving him lots of love.
Yeah, he's gotten Flex, he's gotten McNug, he's gotten it all. He's trying to be our tank, but we already have a tank, so we have to just go with that, just out of respect, Now, if Tank's out all next year, maybe we can be big BTJ guys. Maybe have a BTJ drop.
Yeah, maybe we can be like, girl, give me a BTJ, brother, or I don't know. We'll work on it.
Yeah. So we got to waivers. Are there any waiver claims that people need to be making? It's kind of a weird time for waivers, but there might be somebody that you want. I don't know.
Really, the only guy I found, Tajay Spears. He's rostered in about half the league, so there's a good chance he's not there. But if he is there, take a look at him. They've got, I believe, as Doc said earlier, they got Jacksonville, who's horrendous. So maybe someone to take a look at, and he's been coming on here as of late. So other than that, really the Cardinals' backfield, who knows if James Conner is going to play this week with his injury, but that's really if you're only into nasty stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch that backfield, because who knows what's going to happen with them now officially eliminated from the playoffs. But really, there's not too much out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe look for if you're streaming defenses, look for target teams like and I backed away from targeting Titans because Mason Rudolph just doesn't turn the ball over like the great Will Levis did. So target the Giants, target I don't know, other shitty teams, Jaguars. Well, no, I don't know.
Saints.
Target the Giants. But anyway, that's about it really. Other than that, you should have your studs at this point, and they're who got you there. Unless they're descending and you have someone on your bench ascending, I wouldn't mess around with that lineup too much. Go get that chip.
Okay. So we got our matchups, fantasy championship matchups, crucial for next week. So our first one is Chiefs at Steelers. Careful now, this is a Wednesday night game. So this is or Wednesday game. This is your Christmas game. So while you're like opening up your present, you're like, oh, more underwear. Damn it. And I didn't get my lineup set either. Damn it. That's you on Christmas Day. And your family's like, Dad, what's wrong? So, anyways, you're neglecting your family on Christmas Day, messing with your fantasy team. That's what it's all about. Chiefs and Steelers both both very much got things to play for. I think the Chiefs still have to play hard to keep that number 1 seed. Is that right? Or
no, I think they're with the Bills' loss. I think they're pretty good now.
Okay, so the Chiefs might back off a little bit, to be honest. Like, what are they playing for here? So that might help you make some decisions. Xavier Worthy went off this week, so that's becoming a thing. I don't know how much you want to invest in that. And then on the Steelers side, people calling for Justin Fields back out there, Russell Wilson shitting the bed. And so the Steelers are looking a little shaky as we finish out the year, but they have very much a lot to play for as far as seeding is concerned.
I'm very happy we have a Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, it's 5 of the 7 days, so a lot of kicking action we got going on here coming up. Bosgod coming up in this game. Had a down week, but thanks to Russell Wilson, of course. So hopefully he can get back on track. What I did realize also is what they did. I don't know if y'all realize this. The 2 teams that played Saturday, the 2 games, they basically just swapped opponents for this Wednesday, and those are the 4 teams that are playing on Wednesday. So you still have a normal Sunday to a Thursday break. So that kind of helps a little bit. It's not too crazy short of a week. It's still short, but not crazy short. I feel like this could be the over under 43.5. I wouldn't be shocked seeing this go under, just because you have 2 pretty solid defenses, especially with the Steelers there. I would like to see TJ Watt get back healthy again. I don't know if he didn't look like himself or just everything the Ravens were scheming were the opposite side of the way he was going, but he's riding my IDP player in Superflex for the championship, so I need you to pull through for me. I need you. Please help me. And
oh boy,
should be in. Looks like it's at Pittsburgh, so I mean, who knows what Coach alluded to what's going to happen with the Chiefs now? They can probably back off just a smidge. Steelers still need to fight hard, so it should be a competitive game in theory, but we'll see. And I wouldn't be shocked to see hit the under.
Dang, we had 3 viewers, but
Yeah.
I guess they didn't like this game either. So it's definitely I see it going way under. Definitely I don't even know if it'll be a field goal fest. I think I don't know. You want to say it's a big Bosgod game, but he's been kind of mid lately too. You're starting him though. Who else? I don't know. I don't know. I know I had him in one very deep league. I was starting DeAndre Hopkins as like a second flex player, but I think I'm coming off of that and going more Tyrone Tracy. I just don't like the way this game's looking. So I'm staying away from. I don't think I have any shares of like anybody else on there. Hollywood Brown returning is exciting. I know he got like 5 catches or something. And he was like kind of my main target of like the 3 receivers preseason. But it's kind of late to be making moves like that unless you're just super desperate at receiver. Other than that, I think you're just
Would you be
probably
throwing?
avoid.
Would you be throwing George Pickens out if he came back?
Oh man, I don't think so. It depends on what you have. He's one of those depends on what you have, but you don't feel great about it. Yeah, I know the Chiefs they stopped my Joe Mixon last week. They injured Tank Dell. So not good. I don't know. I'd avoid the whole matchup if it were me.
Okay, so matchup number 2, Ravens at Texans. Ravens, I think the Ravens have more to play for here than the Texans. The Texans are kind of locked in to their seed. I don't know if they can move around anymore, but
technically, I think they may be able to move up one. I don't know for sure on that one, but they've locked up their division at least.
So the Texans, we've seen the Texans before when it's just one receiver asset out there, like when it's just Nico or just Tank, and it's brutal for them. So I do not feel good about your Texans. I don't feel good about just how things could go when there's just not a lot of threat offensively. Hopefully Mix can get back going and they can generate enough with Nico. Seems like Nico's that guy where everyone can know he's getting the ball and he still gets the ball. So I like that about it. And then on the Ravens side, they looked pretty good last week. Henry, flirting with 200 yards. It was nice to see him get back going again. And like I was saying about Zay, maybe he can come on for your fantasy championship and leave you feeling good. And Rashad Bateman, what in the do we do about that? He's out here scoring points 2 weeks in a row. 3 is a trend. Is anyone putting Rashad Bateman?
No.
Not I, said the dry.
I'm not touching it.
I wouldn't touch that with a 39.5-foot pole.
No, I'm not touching that at all. Really, I think Texans, I don't see how you can't play Joe Mixon, obviously, unless you have a better option, but most people will not have a better option than Joe Mixon with as well as he's been playing this season. I think it's Mixon and Nico, and you're checking out for the Texans. Ravens, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, and I'm done on that side. I'm not touching anything else on that.
Yeah.
You're right, though. It should be interesting with Texans. Really not much to gain here. Ravens still have a chance to win their division, so they have a lot to play for. The spread of Baltimore at 5 seems probably about right. I wouldn't be shocked if it was, closer to 10 to 12 points, though.
Yeah, I can see Lamar having a good game. There was a stint there where the Texans were like a fun start, but I think they were playing like the Titans and a couple other bad opponents. But I really am strongly considering benching Joe Mixon for Tajay Spears, if that tells you anything. And also that Ravens secondary has gotten better too. I know they were picked on by Jamar Chase and some others, but they've been kind of showing up lately. So I mean, again, another game that I don't love for fantasy. I'd almost be willing to bet the under on it, but I'm not much of a betting man. But if I was, I would take my ass over to Underdog Fantasy and use code Fifth Quarter Fantasy, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. So go ahead, put that code in, and more importantly, we get $25, and we might do some sort of a live situation where we can try to pay off someone's medical bills or something like that and fail. And but that's something we have done in the past. But definitely not spending any of my money on this game because I feel like I would completely mess it up.
Can we set up a GoFundMe for Tank Dell of our winnings?
Whoa.
We should.
I mean, not that he needs it, but
Can you imagine he gets like a little envelope at the hospital? He says,
got
"What is this?"
$42 in it.
yeah, he would remember that. He would remember the guys who sent it to him. Like, someone sent me $42 for my medical bill.
These are my winnings. I bet on the winnings this week, and that was you. To you.
Packers go up 24-zip on a 55-yard Brandon McManus field goal. Also, Josh Jacobs has a 10-yard completion now to add to his stat line for the day.
I think he got hurt.
Yeah, I'm seeing Chris Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson work in on this drive. So, I mean, if Josh Jacobs did go out, he's got 20 plus PPR points today. So his owners are happy. But
He's really upsetting to me. I hate seeing a guy get that much work and not get injured. Like, how does one do that? Like, are you superhuman? I, I don't.
Jordan Love has yet to crack 10 fantasy points in our kind of
Man.
scoring league. So
Doc
I made the right choice benching that guy.
That's a good feeling.
He's not going to throw the ball very much today. So.
No.
That would have really sucked.
Broncos at Bengals, Peepaw's sneaky favorite game of the week. And so these two teams are kind of battling for similar playoff spots in a sense. I don't know what the Bengals line is. I don't think they control their own destiny.
They have to win. I believe,
if
I recall correctly, they are. I don't know if they're 2 games out from the wild card. I believe Denver has the last wild card, and there's 3 teams or so that are tied for that in the hunt with the Bengals. So it's both teams a lot to play for.
Okay, so much like Dr. Dry after 7 minutes into sex, they need this one, and so
That's pretty good.
He never saw it coming. So yeah, the Bengals, they need one. They need this one really bad. So they're going to be playing hard. And Chase Brown had a little dip, his first kind of floor game in the past since he's been like the starter pretty much. So that was sad for Chase Brown owners. Hopefully he'll have a nice bounce back. But the Broncos defense can be tough. Bo Nix had a good week last week. And so, but the Broncos, the backfield's kind of a mess. And then outside of Cortland Sutton, you're not sure what to do with any of the receivers. Marvin Mims could have like a Jameson Williams kind of game and just go to off, but he could also just get you nothing. So we know what to do with our Bengals asset, I think, unless you're on the fence with like T. Higgins. And then the Broncos probably got Bo Nix in there. And then you might roll the dice with one of those other receivers or the backfield.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton is the wide receiver you'd probably be playing on the Broncos. And it's fun because this should be a great game because you got the Broncos who typically a better defense. Bengals, as of late, have not been a great defense, so you'd love to pass on them. So in theory, you'd think these wide receivers should have a pretty good game. Cortland Sutton's probably the one I'm starting on that, but backfield I'm not touching with a 40-foot pole just because it seems like Sean Payton wants to rotate 5 running backs in there just because he says I can, so he's going to do it, which is not good for anyone in fantasy. So Bo Nix, he's my other super flex quarterback with Jared Goff, so I'm going to stick him in there on this game, and hopefully he can get it done. Bengals, Chase Brown, both your Chase boys, Burrow, and I would likely go with T. Higgins in this game as well. 49.5 seems like a high over-under for this game, but low-key, I was telling the guys earlier, this is my favorite game of the week. There are a lot of playoff implications with it, a lot of fantasy impact, so really looking forward to this game here on Saturday.
I'll go ahead and say it. Touchdown!
Hey.
Touchdown!
Hey.
Touchdown! It's a piggy bank game, so get ready. And Bengals, I love that they're still playing for something and they're playing the team that they need to lose so they can win to kind of keep going. And oh no, the Saints are moving the ball. We need a turnover. Anyway, they're down to like the 35. They're like in field goal range. But anyway, Broncos, Bo Nix can hang with other scoring offenses. So that's exciting. Again, stay away from that backfield. T. Higgins. T. Higgins. All right, I'm 3 points away from going off from. I could have 2 miracles in 2 days here. Anyway, the T. Higgins, that's one where it is a head scratcher. It's hard because you could reap the benefits. But then, oink, oink, Patrick the Porker could come out of nowhere and get you. So watch out for that. But because I don't know if T. Higgins has ever had two good games in a row. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But I think it's definitely a touchdown piggy bank game. And piggy bank game, don't get that confused with Patrick the Porker coming out and just getting you.
They're different.
So you never know. I mean, unless you're on the wrong end of it and you just have all the wrong guys, Patrick could come get you.
That's not a good time. Patrick has a great time though.
Yeah, especially in the fantasy championship. Fuck that.
So our last matchup is Packers at the Vikings. This is your Sunday afternoon matchup. Super relevant divisional matchup here. It's crazy how you got three teams in one division all just kind of fighting it out. We're watching the Packers right now. Yeah. They're kind of business as usual. Jordan Love not getting the usage, not because he sucks, because of like game flow and they're just focusing on running the ball. But obviously you want Josh Jacobs in there, take a roll of the dice with, oh shit, Spencer Rattler interception.
Oh, I'm streaming, so I'm a little behind. So that's what happens on this play?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yes. Shit, yeah, let's go.
They were about to knock off like 3 to 6 points or whatever.
So is this a case where Patrick comes out against your opponent?
Oh yeah, So I'm riding Patrick into his living room, and I'm about to sick him loose. Danny, watch out. Patrick the Porker. I'm within 0.62. I need 1 sack.
You're right there. And no more points.
Yeah, cannot give up any points.
Or you need a few more sacks and then they can give up. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I'd
love a good pick six to give me a little wiggle room.
The pick six would work it out because that would negate a score.
And then that was cool. Thanks for telling me because I didn't know what to expect on that play.
Yeah, I like having a game going while we're doing it. It's kind of fun. Anyway.
So the nice website that you use is ahead. It's on time, and Hulu Live Plus Sports is behind.
The Russians know what they're doing. They know how to put a good stream on.
Where it's at.
So, like we were talking about, though, this has implications as far as the NFC North is concerned. Vikings tie with Lions for that number 1 and bye. So both teams are wanting to win. Packers, I believe, are solidly in the wild card. But this has probably a high potential score matchup on this. Minnesota's at home. We'll see if Jefferson can do what he did this past week and get some good points on the board. And I'm hoping for a high-scoring game. Not necessarily piggy bank, but hoping for a high-scoring game here with this. And Josh Jacobs, I'm probably checking out of the Packers. And Vikings, Darnold, Jefferson. Addison needs to. We're going to a little side rant here. Addison needs to learn his place. Addison needs to get out of the way. He is not the superstar in Minnesota. He needs to sit his ass down and say he needs to collect himself and say, what am I? Oh, I'm not the number 1. Jefferson's number 1. I need to sit down. Let Jefferson have the spotlight. I can't do the gritty. He does the gritty. Like, we're known for Jefferson, not me. I can't do that. I fell asleep at a stoplight because I was drunk. Jefferson don't do that. Addison, sit down, get out of the way. Jefferson needs to score me a 50 burger this week so I can win this championship. And rant.
Damn right. Love it. Yeah, fuck Jordan Addison. I hope he gets injured. But yeah, get this man a nice warm glass of milk. Jordan Addison, get off of Peepaw's lawn right now.
Thank you. Because you know what
Oh,
week it is?
shit.
It's championship
okay.
week.
That's right.
It's time for all these emotions to come out.
You gotta let them out. You gotta scream. You gotta get
Oh.
pissy.
I do every game when I see Addison catch a ball. I'm like, that's not 18. What's number 3 doing with the ball? Doesn't he know his place? Get out of here. Happens every week.
And
Yeah, I think I call him like a talentless piece of shit, even though he like really produces for other teams pretty well.
I like that.
And so championship week, it's your opportunity to neglect your family over the holidays. They really just get in the way between you and fantasy. It's like, Dad, I'm hungry. It's like, shut up. I have got to watch, Jordan Addison
I
steal
do
another
not
touchdown
care.
for more percent. So, or your grandma's like, this could be my last Christmas with you. And you're like, stop. The game's on. Like,
Where's
for God's
the figurine?
Oh, where's? Oh, honey. Oh, I just love seeing you.
She's very festive, Grandma. You're
Oh,
dressed up for the
I love-
holidays, I see.
Shut up, Grandma.
So hopefully we'll report back next week on New Year's Eve. We have between maybe 6 championship opportunities, but definitely 5 championship opportunities between all of us. So what, you think we could go 50%? I think we could go 50%.
We can go 100.
We could go 100. I want
100.
us all to walk in here with a championship, but if Kev could get 2 and Peeps gets 1, or Kev gets 3 and we get 0, I'm not confident in mine. I'm just going to put a good team on the field, set it and forget it, walk off, and just say I did my best. So, but yeah, so championship week. I hope everyone does well. We'll see.
We can only hope.
So I wanted to say some things about championship week because this is where the real legends are made, right? This is where you make a name for yourself. This is where you put fear in the rest of your opponent's hearts heading into next year because they know what you're capable of. They know that you're him and they're not. And this is where you prove that shit. So put out a great lineup. You do everything that you've been doing throughout the year. You've been listening to the show. You're ready. You're well versed on who's trending up, who's trending down, and you make smart decisions. Also, little things like don't start, and we have Wednesday night games. So, make sure that you check those lineups every day. If you have an injured person, put them in that IR. Pick up someone who could block someone who's questionable on the other team. Take into account, learn their roster just as much as you know your roster. Again, be sharp and go out there, grab one, and start fucking the competition because you're gonna win this shit.
I will start mine out with what would Tank Dell do? He's once again we visited this earlier. We showed compassion for the first time ever tonight. Kev, can you pour one out for him?
On the desk.
Like, I don't know. I have electronics over here.
Onto his keyboard.
Tank will surely purchase you a new one after seeing this.
We poured a little out.
Well, as you beautifully alluded to earlier, go out and block tomorrow night's waiver for most. Block whatever your opponent needs. Take a look at who's injured on their team, who they may be going for. Bet a couple more dollars in fab you think that they are going to be doing. Shouldn't, in theory, be too many other people vying for waiver spots this week with some people not competing anymore. So keep a close eye on that and your opponent's team. Move these guys that are playing earlier in the week out of your flex positions into that regular position so you free up yourself if something were to happen later in the week. Just keep watching it. And this is, if you don't have a good outing on Wednesday, there's a lot of guys that are going, you may be screwed. But you tell yourself, we can keep fighting. You just have to throw a little bit longer and aim a little bit higher, that these guys that can have breakout games will have breakout games for you. Either that or it will be the longest, most prolonged death of your entire life. So you have to wait all the way until Monday night from Wednesday. So that's a very long time to hold on to it. But keep going and aim for the sky.
No regrets.
No regrets, as one would say.
Okay, there you have it. Don't fuck this up. We will see y'all on New Year's Eve. And before you leave, don't forget to do 5 crucial things, of which those will be living, laughing, loving, liking, and subscribing. Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast.